I've always dreamed about starting my own business since I was young. It's always fascinated me, the endless creativity and, the idea of doing your own thing, the freedom it gives you, whether it's financial freedom or just, the freedom to do whatever feels right. That's what's always drawn me to it. So I've been building my business for a while now, and I can't really imagine doing anything else. But before I was able to do that, I had to kind of change my thinking a little bit. And today I'd like to share an experience that helped me shift my mindset and kind of understand what the core of every single business is. Yeah, so even though I wanted to build my own business, I had no idea where to start. I had no clue what kind of skills it will take. And honestly, I didn't even have too many good examples around me because nobody in my family has ever built a successful business. I think most of my inspiration came from movies like The Social Network or the Steve Jobs film even. I really love the stories where the hacker guy and the sales guy joins forces and they're just, start grinding and then they build something great. Yeah, I just didn't know how to do it. But then I turned 25, I randomly met my business partner and that changed everything for me. But I get to that in a second. So in my late teens and early 20s, instead of focusing on how businesses are built, I was spending most of my time learning how to code and I wanted to become an engineer. Also, I spent a big portion of my time partying and drinking with friends. Yeah, that was my two modes back then. I was either learning or drinking. For some weird reason, I thought the better I became as an engineer, the closer I'd get to running my own software company one day. But that obviously wasn't the case. The closest I got to running my own software company back then was when I started to work as a freelancer and I finally made the equivalent of a normal salary, only with twice the amount of work. So that was not a success story. And that changed almost instantly when I finally met my business partner. It was pure luck that we met, just a complete accident. My girlfriend and I rented a flat in the same building where he was living. Back then, girlfriend, now she's my wife. We got to know each other, and when he learned I was a software engineer, he was the one suggesting that we should start a business together. And obviously I said yes, because that was my dream. He became responsible for getting new clients for the business. Something I was always terrible at, and honestly, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I just never realized the importance of it. Even in the movies, I've always paid attention to the guy who builds the stuff, when in Social Network, the guy who plays Mark Zuckerberg just sits down and starts coding and grinding. I thought that was the guy who basically built the business. And the same thing with the Steve Jobs movie. I thought it was the guys in the garage who actually built the computer. And for some reason, I didn't pay attention to Steve Jobs, who kept making phone calls in the movie, and he was super frustrated, and all he did was from the morning till the evening he was just making phone calls, a ton of rejection. All I paid attention to was what the engineers were doing, and I thought I was supposed to be doing the same thing in order to build something that becomes successful. I've never seen anyone working in such a role, so I had no clue how he was going to do it, but what he did was he basically immediately jumped on Facebook, he joined Facebook groups, he started messaging people, he called people in his network. The office where I was usually sitting in silence, constant beeping, like beep, beep, beep messages all the time, Facebook, LinkedIn. And then I realized that, oh shit, I felt like I was in a crowded McDonald's or a supermarket where you can constantly hear, the orders come in. And yeah, so things really started moving. Shortly after that, he landed our first big client who changed everything for us business-wise. We finally made enough money to hire new people and hire some help. I know this story has become a bit long, but what this whole thing made me realize is that business is basically people, business is conversations, and business is meaningful relationships. And these are genuine relationships we're talking about, not just, schmoozing around to see, who's going to buy your stuff. For the longest time, I thought it's all about the product. It's all about, what you're building. But I was completely wrong. So lesson number one for me was that business basically starts and ends with people. Your product and service has to be good, and that's it. But apart from that, it's just people and connections. And the second takeaway was one connection, one conversation can completely change everything. Basically, I had to meet one person to be able to change my mindset and forever unlock the ability to build a business. And it took one client to take our business from 3 people to, 7 people. It was a huge jump. But that's my story. That's how my business journey started. I'm not sure if this is useful information. Please let me know. I know this is kind of basic, but to me, it was like a real shift in mindset and also result. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I see you in the next one.